One of the first things that really interested me in Montessori was, as much as possible, we should have as many mixed aged and ability students in the environment as possible. And to do this, we need to stop thinking about math so linearly. There are prerequisites, but it's not a rigid structure which must be followed. So I'm going to go through the evolution of our mathematics classroom at the Montessori High School. Now, this took a little more than 4 years and changed based on observation, a desire to get more independence for the students, as well as changes that we made to the space. So here's an early model of a mathematics unit based on Montessori theory in the adolescent plane. Now, this model attempted to inject choice into the math classroom when students of similar ability were in the room. Now, the words across the top show things which are happening all of the time in the math classroom. There's always problem solving, fractions, decimals, percentages, estimation, order of operations, probability statistics, geometry, mental math, and math history. And then below, the skills of algebra are grouped together under three primary ideas: functions, expressions, and equations. So in general, we would start from left to right, but we could work through this chart vertically or horizontally. So say the students started with integers, what would they do next? Well, they can go onto combining like terms, then the distributive property, but they could also go to one-step equations or the coordinate plane. So say they're going across the equation strand, and then they get to multi-step equations, but they don't know the distributive property, then they will need to get that lesson. So do they learn something because they need it, or do they learn something and then move on to the application? Or if they're working through functions and get to the lines portion, they might need to work with equations to write the equations into slope-intercept form. So there is some freedom within the structure where a student can progress, but will usually need information from another track to finish. Now, this is somewhere in the level 1 classroom definition, and it had some persistent problems. Now, everyone is essentially at the same place, and they were brought along at the same pace with limited choice. The classes are teacher-led, and the students are too passive. And we were desiring some things. We wanted students to be where they are and allowed to learn at their pace, and teachers to be a part of the prepared environment, and students to be more active. So we had to progress the program. We wanted to restructure the environment for more student freedom, less teacher lesson, and the integration of projects and seminar, and ensuring the students have the time to work on the material in a meaningful way. And we thought it important to think about all the parts of math. The idea that they would take Algebra 1 year, and then not see it for another year, then see geometry again, didn't seem right with us.